you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or have you ever had an anxiety attack where for some reason all your mind is doing is thinking about what might happen in the future or what has happened in the past and you just cannot turn your brain off? Well, today I'm going to teach you guys why this happens and how you can get on top of the situation. So I'm going to give you the answer pretty much straight away. The key to getting on top of your mind is being mindful or mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Well, being mindful is being in the present with yourself right here, right now. Not worrying about what you're going to do 2 seconds from now or what has just happened, but what you are doing at this very point in your life. For example, I am sitting here recording a video in front of a camera. That is all my mind is focusing on right now, not what I'm doing after and not what I've done all day. Just this moment, here and now. Being mindful is being aware of your thoughts and your feelings. So how do you feel right now? What is going through your mind? Are you having positive thoughts? Are you having negative thoughts? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to something? Being mindful is being aware of your actions and your behavior. You might be driving down the street and there's a whole lot of traffic. Are you angry? Are you going to be raging at that person behind the wheel of your car? Or are you happy that you're out of the house and you're just driving because you can and you're just being grateful for being able to even drive a car in the first place? Being mindful is paying attention to the choices that you are making in life, a conscious choice that you're making in life, instead of just working on autopilot where you're just doing things but you're not really taking in exactly what you're doing, how you're feeling, what your actions are and what the outcome could be. Instead, you might be just rushing into things, or you might be just doing things because it's how you've always done them, but you've never really put any thought behind it and you just hope for the best. Being mindful really just gives you that little help in life of shutting off your brain and really making wise choices for the here and now instead of making choices that you might not even have to worry about in the future. To help you get a better grip on what mindfulness is, I'm going to tell you what the opposite of it is, which is mindlessness. Mindlessness is when we're thinking about things that we're going to be stressing about, things that are going to cause anxiety or problems for us that are constantly worrying us, and we're living in the future. We are focusing on what is going to happen when we really have no control over that anyway. Or things that has happened in the past when you've already had it happen. There's no control over what has happened in the past, so there's no point in thinking of it. We do this so easily without even realizing that we're doing it. Being that way inclined can cause anxiety, can cause stress, can cause negative thoughts, can cause negative vibes, which means that you aren't being the positive, happy person that you can be because you're so focusing on everything that isn't great in life, which then makes you portray yourself as that kind of person because they're the vibes that you're giving out. And I know I've talked about that in previous videos before, and this fully ties in with the law of attraction as well. By focusing on things that are completely out of your control and worrying about things that you have no control over at all, you're basically like a hamster in a hamster wheel. You're just going around and round and round. You're not getting anywhere. You're just constantly thinking about things that you have no reach on. Instead of thinking about positive things that you can then bring in, you're just thinking about negative things that you can't have. Therefore creating problems for you, creating stress as to why you can't have that or why that happened, or anxiety as to why you can't get over that. Being mindful is being aware of your feelings, being aware of the situation, being aware of your surroundings, the things that are around you. Name out things that you are grateful for that are around you that can make you happy, make you realize that you are in a good place here and now in this present time, that you don't have to worry about anything else. And when you start to do that, you'll start to realize all the different negative thoughts that you've been wasting on things that you have no control over, things that are out of your reach and things that don't need to worry you because they aren't here and now. You don't have control over what's going to happen or what has happened at this very point in your life. This is the only part that you have control over, so you might as well make the most of that in the most positive way that you can. Being mindful is living in the present. All you have control over is right now. So what are you going to do right now that can make you make a difference in your situation? Be mindful of your surroundings. Where are you? All of your senses. What can you smell? What can you see? What can you touch? By thinking about all of these different little things, you're bringing your brain to focus right here and now and nothing more than that. Because here and now is all we have control over. When you're being mindful, you're focusing more on the simple things in life because the things that are in front of you right now is all that matters. So by concentrating on those things, you are pretty much stripping away all the negative and complex things in life that you don't need to overthink, you don't need to stress about, you don't need to feel anxious about, because none of that matters. If you are someone like me who has constantly suffered with depression and anxiety, or you constantly have a brain that does not turn off and that just wants to chatter and chatter the whole way until it drives you nuts, then this is why you need to be watching this video and why you need to be taking in what I'm saying, because from someone from experience who has had that and who is going through that kind of thing, this is the thing that's worked for me, and it can definitely work for you. You just got to believe that it can and fully understand where I'm coming from and have an open mind when I do say things. Now, I do have a history of anxiety. I get anxiety still to this day. I don't get it as much as I used to because I'm taking control over that. Now, the way that I can control my anxiety is by being mindful, by turning off the voices in my head, which is a hard thing, but once you get control over that, you will understand that you can literally change the way you think in every way, shape and form. You have complete control over your body and your mind, and I cannot tell you how rewarding and how awesome that feeling is. When I feel anxious, I meditate. Just the other night, I got a little bit anxious over absolutely nothing. I don't even know why I was anxious. My body just started twisting and turning in my stomach, and my brain was just going a million miles an hour. I felt angry, I felt frustrated, agitated, and I didn't even know why. And I spent a few hours like that until I realized that no, that's bad habits, that's old habits that used to be me, and I don't want to be that way anymore. Then I realized that I can bring myself to the present time and just focus on the now, and hopefully that would calm my mind. So I went and meditated, and I meditate a lot these days. I laid on my bed flat, I put on some meditative music, and I just focused on clearing my brain. I brought myself to the situation that I was in now. I asked myself, you know, what is around me that I can be grateful for, that can make me feel positive about the environment that I'm in. What can I feel? I focused on feeling my bed underneath me and being grateful that I had such a nice bed to lay on. I was grateful for being able to have music playing in my room, you know. I'm grateful for the TV that plays that music, because that music was keeping me here and now and relaxing my mind. And by doing that, I was feeding off positive things that were coming back to me and clearing my mind, which then made my energy feel a whole lot more positive in itself. If you guys would like a video on my meditating routine or how I do meditate, because it is actually something that I didn't know how to do before, and I've kind of taught myself how to do a little bit more, I would love to make a video on it, but just let me know. Now, I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to read out to you guys, and whether or not you wanted to answer them or use these in your everyday life, you totally can. But this will just show you examples of when you are being mindful and when you're not being mindful, and how quickly it can happen without you even realizing, and how it does happen in the everyday life. First example is, are you a good listener? Now, I would normally say, yeah, I'm a good listener. I like listening to people's stories. But when you're listening to someone, are you fully just focusing on that person? Or, you know, do you have your phone in front of you and it's going off? Because at that second that your phone goes off, your attention's now gone from that person to your phone, which means you're missing out on what that person is saying. Are you people watching while that other person's talking? Are you looking around? Are you not focusing on that person? Because if you are, then you're not being mindful. You're just focusing on the things around it and not fully taking in what is happening in front of you. The next example is body changes. You know, do you notice when you start feeling anxious? Do you notice when you start feeling stressed? And most of us, I think, do notice that, because we start thinking, oh shit, you know, I'm feeling really stressed right now, or I'm feeling really anxious, my tummy's turning, my head won't stop. That's a great thing if you've noticed that, but that's an easy thing to notice. But once you start to notice that, that's what you need to focus on. What can you do in this present time to make that situation better? Instead of letting your mind take over and just constantly beat you up over the next period of time until you just might get over it, or just until you fall asleep. Don't let it get to that. Beat it right here and right now. When you're walking down the street, are you noticing the trees around you? Are you noticing the cars that are around you and passing you? Or is your head in your phone, you know? Or are you looking at the floor? Or, you know, what are you doing? If you're not living for the actual present moment, you can't appreciate what's around you. The next example is, are you listening to your intuition? You might come across a situation where you think, should I or shouldn't I? And then you might start stressing yourself out thinking about, well, if I do this, this might happen, and this might happen, and then this might happen. Or if I don't do this, then this might happen, and this might happen. It's all good to weigh out the pros and cons, but fully simplify your life. What do you lean towards more straight away? Yes or no? Listen to your intuition, because at the end of the day, you know what's right and wrong. And just simplify it. Cut all the complex out and do what you need to. The next example is, do you know how to forgive? You will come across shitty situations in life. You're gonna come across a whole bunch of shitty people too, but that's all a part of life. The longer that you hold grudges, the longer that you hold hate or dislike towards something or someone, is the longer that it's constantly going to be a problem for you, because you're never going to let that go. The second that you forgive the person, the situation, or the thing, is the second that you've freed that from being in your mind and is no longer an issue to you. Even if you really don't like that thing, forgive it. Just don't forget it. The next example is, are you taking care of yourself just as much as you're taking care of other people? I think this is a really good one, because we, I think, as people, like to constantly focus on helping other people or caring for other people, and that's such an amazing thing to do. But we also like to forget ourselves in the meantime. Now I know, and from my experience, I don't do that on purpose. I've just never really focused on myself. But if you don't focus on yourself, then you as a person are never going to get anywhere, because instead you're focusing on the other person and their future and what they're going to be doing, when really number one is most important, and you should really just be living for yourself and what you're going to do and what you are doing. And the last example is accepting ups and downs and challenges. Can you as a person comfortably say that you can accept any challenge that comes your way? We're constantly going to have challenges thrown at us. Now there's two approaches that you can take to this. The first one being that you can take a negative approach to it and, you know, scare yourself out of a situation that could be coming. You could be stressing yourself over it, losing sleep at night, being anxious about what's going to happen. Or you can take a really positive approach to it and say, no, if this comes my way, I've got this. If you can accept that you are strong enough as a person to be able to take on any challenge that does come your way, then you're already headstrong enough to get in front. You're not allowing yourself to get beaten down. You're not allowing yourself to think negative. You're not allowing yourself to get stressed over it. When it happens, it happens. But at this very moment, if it's not happening, then it doesn't matter. People with anxiety and depression are constantly thinking about that kind of thing. Yo, I know that. I know that. There's been times when I've been focusing on knowing that there's a bad situation coming up, and all I'm worrying about is what might happen. And what might happen sometimes never even does happen. So I've wasted energy, my energy and time, that I'm never going to get back on something that was not worth it in the first place. And I cannot stress to you guys enough how much you've just got to drop what might happen. You've just got to focus on what you're doing right now and cross that path when you get there. But when you do, make sure that you can positively say that you can take on that, because it doesn't scare you, it doesn't stress you, and you've fully got it. So to finish this video off, I'm going to tell you guys an exercise that you can do in your daily life and that I have fully taken on board, and how it has really calmed my anxiety down, because at any point it can spark, and I really want to know that I have control over that, you know, at any time of the day or night, whenever it does happen. Set an alarm on your phone for every 2 hours, and every time that alarm goes off, I want you to just stop what you're doing for a minute or two, and I just want you to focus on exactly what you're doing right now. For example, once this video finishes, I want you to just pause it all. Stop scrolling through Facebook, don't pick up your phone, don't talk to anyone, pause YouTube. And I want you to pretend that there's a clone of you. Just another version of you. Exactly the way that you look, but completely neutral. And pretend they're standing in front of you and they're literally just looking at you. What would that person notice about you just from visualizing you? Do you look tired? Do you look angry? Do you look stressed? Do you look happy? Are you slouched over, or are you sitting up straight? Is your body language lazy, or do you look like you're approachable and you just look like a really happy person? Are you giving off good vibes, or are you being that real negative Nancy that people don't really want to talk to right now? All this exercise is doing is just recognizing how you are at this very moment. It is not a time to beat yourself up over being sad or being angry. You know, if you look like you are being angry or you look down, that's okay, but you recognize that that's exactly what you are. And at that point, you're being mindful because you're in the present time. So from this point on is when you can make the changes you need to make. What are immediate steps that you can do to change the situation that you're in, if you need to? Because I can guarantee if you feel like shit, you don't want to continue to feel like shit. So what can you do that is very minute in this very point of time that can turn that around completely? If you need to take a moment to just sit down and breathe, focus on your breathing. Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3. Do that a few times and just notice how calmer you feel. If you need to go meditate, go lay on your bed, chuck on some really relaxing music and just meditate for 5 minutes. And just constantly tell yourself to clear your mind, and just repeat that, clear your mind, until your brain is not thinking about other things. And if your brain wanders off, then that's okay, because it's completely normal. Brains will do that. But by continuously telling yourself to keep your mind clear, you're training your brain to come back to a neutral point where you're no longer thinking about anything else. And the more that you do this, the more control you're going to have over your thoughts. If you feel hungry, then be simple as shit and go to the fridge and get something out and eat it. Simplify your life so much that things are almost too easy. If you feel something, then do something else to make it better or to fix the problem. Well guys, I'm going to end this video here. I hope I did teach you a thing about being mindful. I really want you guys to take this on board, because it is something that I'm very passionate about and that is really changing my life in the present moment and every single day, because It's things that I've been focusing on that have been changing my life, and I've been noticing the change in it, my mind, my thoughts, my anxiety, my depression. These things are getting better, and the only way that this has happened is by everything that I've just told you right now and the things that I'm going to be telling you in the future, because this is what I want my YouTube to be at this very point. I just want to help you guys try and overcome things that are problems for you, or how to get on top of things in a really simple form, because I know it's very overwhelming, and I know sometimes you don't know where to search for the answers, and if I can do it in a really easy way, I'm just going to help you guys by telling you guys. So if you do want to follow my journey and you would like to watch the videos that I will be producing based on this kind of thing, positive energy, spirituality, and being mindful, law of attraction, all that kind of stuff, then please do hit that subscribe button, because I will be making a whole lot more content based on this. You can also follow me on my social media, my Snapchat and my Instagram. I post daily, and I post quite a bit, and I always have a very positive vibe, because that is what my environment needs to be for me to stay on the right track. So if you want to get into that mind frame, then please do follow me on that too. If you have any questions, or you would like to know a little bit more about any certain thing, please leave it in the comments below. I read them all the time, I answer them daily, I get every single notification when a comment is left, so please do leave me comments. I love chatting to you guys and learning more about your situation and how I can help you also. And for now, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys all in my next one. Bye!